Welcome to the ninth episode of the Where Zone podcast, hosted by Chandler Dantzler. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and watch on YouTube. Today we have former Maryland outfielder, current Alabama commit, Ian Petrutz. We're pumped to have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm pumped to be on here. Thanks, Chandler.
Yep. Before we start talking about your time at Maryland, I'd like to ask this question. Who is Ian Petrutz? How would you introduce yourself?
Um, I introduced myself as a hard-nosed Northeast baseball player who isn't necessarily the most tools out and talented, but will work harder than everybody else
Yep.
every single day to improve on my tools and my strengths. Um, and I just try to do everything as best I can, and I look for the little edges and the little tweaks that I can make every day to take an advantage and bigger leaps over other people.
Yep, for sure. All right, let's take it back to 2021. You graduated from Bishop Eustace, heading into your summer. What were your main goals going into Maryland?
Just to get stronger and faster, I think, and also be able to handle the workload that college gives you. I did a lot of training. I didn't do a lot of playing, but I did do a lot of training and a lot of conditioning, just to get my body, my joints, tendons, and everything ready for the workload that I knew college was going to bring. I mean, when you get to college, it's a different breed. I mean, you go from like normal high school practices and working out by yourself, and that's cool and all, hitting twice a day or lifting twice a day. Like that sounds like a lot, when you're in high school, but
Mm-hmm.
in the grand scheme of things, it's really not. When you get to high school and when you get to college, it's a different ball game. You're training every day. You're going to class too, which is like I think that's very underlooked. It takes a lot of mental focus to be able to handle days like that. Um, and it takes a good amount of time to adjust. And I was trying to take that adjustment period away from myself.
Gotcha. All right. You committed to the University of Maryland in the summer going to your freshman year. Walk us through that decision and why you chose Maryland.
Yeah, so growing up in a small like South Jersey town, I was watching a lot of kids from South Jersey and just New Jersey in general go down to the University of Maryland. And it was an up and coming program. And I remember watching them on TV in 2015 and 2016.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a super regional. They beat the number one team in the country at the time, which was UCLA, to go to a super. And, like dogpiling at the number one team in the country, that was like an awesome experience for them. And also for me, like seeing that, I was like, wow, like this Northeast team that has a lot of Northeast guys on it can really do something special.
Yeah.
And I really believed in that, and I really built into that culture with the coaching staff and stuff like that. So it just felt like it was gonna click. And then as as I was progressing through my career and through that summer, I was just getting a lot of phone calls. I remember one of my coaches, Rob Benjamin, posted a video of me hitting at Lake Point. And he posted that, and it ended up like going pretty viral. And then after that, like I got a ton of phone calls and stuff like that. And Maryland was actually the first one. And there was really no looking back from that point on.
That's great. All right. In your 2 years at Maryland, you batted an average of 288, 92 hits, 78 runs, 23 home runs, 91 RBIs. Talk about your time at Maryland and what you enjoyed the most.
Definitely hanging around the guys on the field and fighting to win a championship. I mean, last year we ended up doing something that Maryland has never done before, and we hosted a regional.
Mm-hmm.
Maryland's never done that, and my freshman year, I got the opportunity to experience what it was like to host a regional. And when I say that was like one of the craziest things I've ever done in my life, 100% was like that atmosphere was absolutely electric. And that's something I'm chasing again. It was a sick feeling. But that's definitely the biggest highlight is hosting a regional. And then I would say winning the Big Ten tournament this year.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. All right. Is there any specific play you had this season that you would like to talk about?
Uh, no, first at bat of the year, first pitch, I hit a home run. Probably my farthest home run this year. Um, it was a bomb, and that stands out to me because like I kind of had a struggle. I was struggling a little bit in the fall this year, and a little bit through the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And I came out like my BP at USF was the best. Like I found these little things that I needed to work on. And I was working on it all week leading up to USF. We get down to USF, I'm taking BP, and it's like the best BP I've had
Nice.
in damn near a year, and I was feeling really good, really really good. And then I very first pitch got a fastball, was hitting fastball first pitch of the year, and absolutely demolished it. And that kind of like set me off on the right foot. And then that weekend, I finished really strong, and kind of continued that momentum until about halfway through the year.
Gotcha. That's awesome. After your sophomore season, you were named the All Big Ten second team. Can you talk about that and what that meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely awesome. My first like real accomplishment in college individually. I felt like last year I was kind of robbed of some freshman accolades. Um, I guess it was just at bats, or maybe because I played the second half of the season only, but I felt like I was kind of robbed, and that hurt a little bit and stung. So this year, getting second team All Big Ten, it wasn't exactly what I was craving, but it was something to just show me that I'm working hard and I'm on the right track.
Gotcha. All right. When I was researching you, this one game caught my eye. I want to talk about this one game you had on March 25th. You went 4 for 5 against UCF, which was a career high of hits for you. Walk us through that game.
Yeah, so actually this was I think week 5, or week 6, and I was kind of struggling. I started off super hot to start the year, and then I got into like you can't call it a slump because in the major leagues you play 6 days a week, you get 50 at bats a week, and you don't get a hit on the week. Then just what it is. Your
Yeah.
batting average drops 2 points. It's not really a slump yet. So like kind of a slump, not really a slump. I was just not feeling right, and I just
Mm-hmm.
felt like I had some stuff that wasn't making me feel all too comfortable. Um, so Friday at UCF, I went like I pride myself on really not striking out much,
Mm-hmm.
and I struck out twice. Wasn't really seeing the ball great. The starting pitcher had my number, and then Saturday, I just got a total full reset. Talked to my hitting coach in the hotel room before the game, and we had like a good talk about like mental stuff and something physical too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of brought that into the game. First at bat, I hit a double, um, and then I felt good. Like when you start the game off with a hit after slumping for a little bit, you're feeling
Good
like you're in
feeling.
the hot seat. You build some confidence up, and honestly, that's all baseball is just building confidence up.
Yep.
Um, and so after that at bat, next at bat, come up with a guy on third, less than 2 outs, and that's my favorite thing in the world is catching guys in.
Yep.
So get a fastball, 2-0 fastball out over the plate, hitting into I think 5-6 hole, scores 2, and then next at bat, I think I popped up or something. I don't even know what my out was that game. But going to my last at bat, I was 3 for 4. And I hit a 3-1 pop up to the catcher, but the catcher dropped
Uh,
in foul territory, and I was like, "That's not happening again." And I
yep.
knew as soon as like that happened, I was about to hit a home run, lefty lefty, my first lefty lefty home run of the year, and it felt really good. Just pumped one off the scoreboard.
That's great.
Yeah, then just kind of brought that momentum throughout the next few weeks. Like hitting's all confidence, and
For sure.
especially at the collegiate level, you're gonna struggle sometimes. And I think that just keeping a straight on mindset and knowing what you have to work on and what you have to do day to day is the most important. And at Maryland, I learned that most important 2 questions you can ask yourself when you're hitting: um, were you on time? And did you swing at a strike? And if
Mm-hmm.
either one of those is no, then flush the rep,
Yep.
right? Because we're not result oriented; it's pure process oriented, and obviously results matter. But
For sure. Check out GodDidAthletics.com. Their brand contains of sports athletic apparel where athletes can express themselves while enjoying and being proud of the clothes they wear. It is important to them that athletes around the world are comfortable and that they recognize the sole reason we are all here. Check out goddamnathletics.com. All right, on June 27th, you announced your commitment to the University of Alabama. Talk about your decision and why you chose Alabama.
Yeah, so I hopped in the portal about a week after our season ended and gave it some time. And our coaches had ended up leaving. Our head coach took the job at Alabama and brought over our assistants, Anthony Papio and Mike Morrison. So they went over to Alabama, and I was talking to a few schools. And when I went down to Alabama, something just kind of clicked. It just felt like the right fit for me over some of these other schools that are in the SEC. So part of the reason is definitely the coaches. Facilities definitely next. I mean, I've never been a big facility guy, especially coming from the University of Maryland. Facilities haven't really mattered to me all too much, but obviously they play a little bit of a part. It just feels like between the strength coach, the athletic trainer, and all the guys involved at Alabama, it feels like the right fit that for me to go somewhere to develop and get better. And that's priority number one for me. I feel like just working with Brett Price, the strength coach at Alabama, I felt like I could really connect with him and I can really do some good work with him throughout the summer. I'm going to move in here shortly and get like a month before we start up fall ball with him. And I think that can be very beneficial for me in terms of working in the outfield and stuff like that. So it just felt right. Following my coaches there, I love them. And so just felt right.
I'm sure many people are asking you this question right here. What do you think the biggest challenge is going to be switching from the Big Ten to the SEC?
Honestly, I'm not really looking at challenges. It's pretty easy to say pitching. It's probably going to be that. I'm just trying to schedule. It's just, I think, more focus day in and day out. You know, like there's no Tuesday midweek where you can go 5 for 5 against UMBC. You know, there is no more of that. So you just have to lock in more day to day. I'm going to assume, which I don't mind that at all. You know, I show up to the field every day and give it my all. So
for sure.
I'm not really looking at the challenges. I don't really think it's going to be much of a challenge. It's just baseball. You know, we play baseball our whole life.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, we practice baseball, we play baseball. Nothing changes. The only changes that are made is the competition, you know, and the level you're at. That's the only thing that really changes. I know I'm good enough to play there. I'm going to show that. I mean, I don't think it's like a question if I can play at the SEC level. I'm just going to go do it, you know?
For sure.
The game of baseball.
Yeah. All right. What are your goals for your upcoming season at Alabama?
On an individual and team goal definitely go to Omaha, not just go to Omaha. I mean, that's been my goal since I've been in 8th grade. I've been visualizing and dreaming about going to Omaha for I can't even tell you how long. It's been like 10 years. I'm like craving and starving walking through the gates of Omaha for the College World Series. And then individually, I want to be an All-American.
That's great. All right, let's talk about relationships you can build while playing baseball. Tell us some of your relationships you built with some of your friends in the career.
Yeah, I look at all my friends, and all of my best friends are all from the Diamond. My best friend Alex Rossner and Dave Oliva, I both met. I met Alex right before high school, and Dave I met in high school playing travel ball. And you know, just I look back at all my childhood memories, and they're all on the field. All my high school days, they're all on the field, or they're at Hooters after a game. You know.
Yep.
Just with the boys, with Mike Zolk, my coach and hitting coach now. Like those are just, I don't know. Baseball is a game that I think gives some of the most unique relationships, and really helps you find your best friends. I think especially because of how mentally taxing it is. The game's tiring, and you know there's nothing better than sitting in the hotel pool after a game or the hotel hot tub with the guys and just like you know like you bond. And it's only for the most part, especially with like you know Gage being on your team, like and you guys are down in Florida, like he only gets to see you guys in the summer. You know, I think for a lot of travel ball teams and a lot of summer ball teams, that's how it is. You're only really with those guys throughout the summer, and I think that's gives a really big impact.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about training. Where do you train at, and how many days do you train a week during the season?
Yeah, so right now I'm lifting at a Tillis gym in Belmar, and I'm pretty much going there every day. Whether it's just doing some pliability stuff or plyometric work and or getting a lift in.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much it's just like routine to show up there, because that's just part of the schedule. And then I hit over at Zoom Baseball Academy, or South Philly Sports Training, formerly known as Zoom. But I train over there, hit there, uh, do a lot of throwing and stuff there too. It's a nice big facility. And I hit with some guys, some other guys. Dave Oliva. I just started hitting with this kid, Jordan Serrano. Um, Really talented kid. He's going to Wake. He's a year older than you guys in 2025. Um, so yeah, I mean, through like the gym aspect of it, it's a lot for me right now. A lot of pliability, so like foam rolling, soft tissue work,
Mm-hmm.
and jumping, and sprinting. Just staying working at high intensity levels, and putting that to the side, and then moving into baseball training and just keeping my swing together, and having the same feels that I had when I was successful on the field, and bringing
Mm-hmm.
them into the cage and turning them into the everyday habit. Because I think that's really what's important is when do you feel good, and can you bring when you feel good over to when you feel bad, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like if you're struggling, you need to be able to go back to something, and you got to be able to bring your success like with your failure and just know that it can all come together, but you have to blend it yourself.
For sure. Yeah. All right. What motivates you to go to the gym every day and get that extra work in at the field?
The fear of being average,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. I think just doing the little things that separate you. You kind of just I know what everybody else is doing and I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I want to do what I'm doing. And I
Yeah.
want them to see that and be like, well, now I need to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm a guy who's gonna show up somewhere every single day, and whether you want to join me or not, you can tag along.
You're
I'm
gonna do it.
more than willing to, yeah, I'm more than willing to go pick you up. But if you don't want to come, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you don't want to join me, if you don't want to work out with me, if you don't want to work with me, that's fine. I'll just go do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more than willing to tag you, bring you along.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's just what it is. The fear of being average.
Gotcha. All right, here's a tough question here. If you could give any advice to yourself in high school, what would it be?
Keep working, and know that success isn't promised. I think
Mm-hmm.
is the best success is the best advice I would give. Success isn't promised.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and I think there's that you can take that like a lot of different ways. But from what I mean is like just just because you have good stats too doesn't mean you're gonna make it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all about statistics. It's not all about your batting average. It's not all about how many home runs you hit. Sure that stuff helps, but it isn't all about that all the time. There's other separators and other factors that go into certain things, and I think understanding that is key to having a level mindset too. Keeps you square and just like centered, knowing that just because I went 0 for 2 today doesn't mean that scout over there is not going to like me. But how can I handle myself in different aspects of the game and
Yep.
off the field, and just
Mm-hmm.
go enjoy life off the field too. You can't always be pressing. There's never a reason to press. You just put in the work, play the game, have fun. The rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, for sure. Here's a big topic going around in baseball right now. What are your thoughts on NIL deals, and do you think it's affecting baseball?
Yeah, so just like the transfer portal as a whole, I think is nuts. Like I was happy to see Chase Burns went to Wake Forest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw that, but one of the top pitching prospects in the portal goes to Wake Forest, and that kind of fired me up because it's like good for him. He's not
Mm-hmm.
chasing the money at LSU or chasing the money somewhere else because Wake Forest doesn't have NIL money to give, and he's choosing to go to Wake Forest because of the pitching lab and to develop into a better pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And Corey Muscar, there's no better place to develop as a pitcher than Wake Forest.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, I don't know. I think it is good for the game, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of money chasing going around, and I don't think that plays for everybody. Um, I think some kids are given false hope,
Mm-hmm.
as well as a lot of people when they go into the portal, they just signed their retirement from baseball and they don't even know it yet.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
there's not a place for every single kid to play that's in that portal right now,
Yep,
and that's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth. Um, I think it's deadly. It can be deadly, but it can be a good thing if
for
you
sure.
have the right reasons to want to get out and want to transfer and do it. But I don't think chasing an NIL deal is the best thing to do because, for one, make your money in the draft, dude. Go grind somewhere, go grind, go develop,
Yep.
and get drafted, and make your money there. Don't make your money through an NIL deal that isn't even promised money.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's kind of my thoughts. It's just it can be good, it can be bad. I think it all depends on your perspective of it.
Yeah, for sure. Pros and cons on it for sure. All right,
Yeah.
let's take it away from baseball for a minute. Who's your pregame artist or song before a game?
Nickelback or Johnny Cash for the most part. Sometimes Colter Wall, which is my walk-up song, "Sleeping on the Blacktop" and "God's Gonna Cut You Down."
Mm-hmm.
Um, Usually, sometimes I would like visualize at bats by listening to the walk-up song
Gotcha.
and the point at the start. So like I see my at bat happening and just kind of sit on the bus. We're 2 minutes from the field, put the song on. And then always, as soon as we're walking off the bus, I listen to "Rockstar" by Nickelback because I'm a rock star when I'm on that field. So
Yeah, for sure. What do you do in your free time
what's
outside of
cool?
baseball?
A lot of going to the beach, hanging with the guys. And I usually don't get a lot of that, but recently I have, and I think it's been good for me to get some like a nice mental reset going. But my free time involves hitting. Like I just love swinging. I
Mm-hmm.
love working on my swing and um, making little tweaks here and there, and just smashing fastballs is what I love to do. So that's a lot of free time. But I like walking. I like hiking. I like being in nature a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's very calming to me. And I like watching movies.
Gotcha.
Pretty stock.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Ian, for coming on the podcast, and good luck with your first season in Alabama.
Thanks, Chandler. Thank you for having me, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.